it's just the vibe of the thing.
Hello my darlings, and welcome to my first vlog of Spooktober. So as I previously promised, all of my themed vlogs in October will be horror filled. And today we're doing It's the Vibe, where I read books based on recommendations I received from the subreddit, Books That Feel Like This. So this month's submissions were what I would call retro / pulp horror vibes. So I was expecting maybe something along those lines, but I got quite an interesting array of recommendations. A lot were obviously books I had already read, but out of the ones that I didn't, I picked two, and we're going to talk about those two today. So the first book I read for this vlog is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Welcome to a sleepy seaside town where everyone suddenly develops a fatal case of spiral madness. Your dad turned himself into a cinnamon roll. Your girlfriend had decided it wanted a modelling contract with Tornado Vogue. Your mum can't stop cleaning her ears. And your classmate, he is snail now. The moral of this story? You can try to fight fate, but if you live in Junji Ito's world, you're just one step away from becoming a cinnamon bun of doom. So Uzumaki is a horror manga. It is a slow, hypnotic descent into a geometry lesson from hell. The author takes something as harmless as a spiral, think seashells, whirlpools, galaxies, and yes, cinnamon buns, and turns it into something terrifying, obsessive, and inescapable. The story starts small. So you have a man who suddenly develops a fixation with snail shells, and then a girl's hair starts curling strangely. The smoke starts spiraling from the crematorium chimney, and then bit by bit, each chapter escalates into increasingly grotesque transformations. Bodies that understood the assignment of the game Twister, people quite literally metamorphizing into snails, and houses collapsing into vortexes. Apologies for my voice, it's a bit croaky today. The spiral ends up becoming this very visual motif and also a metaphor for inevitability. Once you are caught in its grip, there is no escape. Visually, I thought it was a pleasing vista. The illustration style is highly detailed, grotesquely beautiful, and just on this verge between absurd and terrifying. You want to look away, but just like most visual patterns, they trap your eye and pull you deeper into the spiral itself. I thought that this book was quite heavy on the body horror. I'd say that is the main horrific aspect in this book, but it's also quite heavily about obsession and paranoia and the way a single idea, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry, where was I? And the way a single idea can consume an entire community until they are no longer people, but simply parts of the pattern. I thought it was okay. I think I read the massive version of this. I think this contained multiple volumes. I don't know, it's a deluxe edition. So after a while, I was kind of fatigued by all the spirals. There were some images, especially the chick whose face ends up becoming a spiral, that will stay in my brain. They were very memorable. But yeah, I thought it was okay. But also I do like a bit of color in my graphic novels, and this was black and white. Does it suit any of the images I submitted? Yes. I think out of all of them, it suits the one with the eyes and kind of watching, because Uzumaki tends to depict distorted human features, especially eyes. Case in point, the terrifying photo that stayed in my memory. There's also spirals, gazes, it's all very reminiscent of eyeballs. I think it also reflects the very obsessive surveillance and bodily mutation that the author uses to unsettle the reader. So yeah, I feel like it matched that photo. The next book I was recommended was Cackle by Rachel Harrison. In this book, Annie moves to a quaint little town to recover from her breakup with her ex/still roommate with whom she has a codependent relationship. But instead of therapy, she finds a hot witch Sophie is glamorous, mysterious, ageless, and she has a suspicious number of pet spiders who fawn over her like it's her personal arachnid fan club. The townsfolk whisper. Annie falls under Sophie's spell, and suddenly, girl dinner looks a lot like sipping wine in a haunted mansion while your new BFF hexes the patriarchy. This is basically Eat, Pray, Love, but with spiders, spells, and 1 o'clock. I felt like this was a kind of darkly, cozy, witchy read. On the surface, it's very much a breakup recovery story, but instead of becoming a rom-com with a meet cute, she meets Sophie, who is this very dazzling, unnerving woman who embodies everything Annie was taught not to be. Unapologetic, magnetic, possibly immortal. Very soon, the sort of warm apple pie vibes of the town turn into something sour with gothic suspicion. Sophie is very intoxicating. She's the kind of person every people pleaser secretly craves, though she does come with the suspicion that perhaps empowerment and destruction look somewhat similar. So the novel is less about, is Sophie a witch? Because, yeah, duh, of course she is. And more about who Annie will become once she stops dimming her own light. The horror in this book I thought was more uncanny rather than gory. There was a bit of a threat, of tension, of ominousness, but it kind of took a backseat to Annie's extreme passivity, which was so incredibly frustrating and lasts for 80% of the book. And I get that's the point. She goes from being extremely codependent, not just with her ex-boyfriend, but also with Sophie, to eventually evolving to no longer being a pushover and someone who claims her own power. But my God, did it take forever to get there. I think this could have been cut way down. Like, this could have been a novella. It could have been a novella, and I think I would have enjoyed it more than having to sit through so much of Annie just bending and molding herself around other people. So overall, it's a witchy tale about breakups, besties, and becoming the kind of woman other people whisper about. I thought it was okay. Like I said, it was the length that really got to me. The amount of time we had to sit with Annie being a doormat was rough. I also, thought this had massive missed potential for a sapphic element. At first I thought, oh my God, Annie and Sophie are going to get it on. They turned it into like a mother-daughter fucking thing. And I'm like, why? Why would you? At first, Annie's admiring just how stunning and alluring Sophie is. And I'm like, she's about to realize that this is her bi awakening. But no, nothing there. Just gal pals, literally just gal pals. So that really bummed me out. I didn't really want a mother-daughter dynamic. It was giving Mother Gothel a little bit, just a little bit. The spider buddies are kind of cute. They were kind of cute. If you have arachnophobia though, don't read this because the spiders are everywhere. And I thought she got over her ex very quickly after spending so much time mooning and simping for him. It was just like, oh no, actually I'm done now. Just like that. Like I said, the entire book was this slog, and then boom, everything happens within the last few chapters. We have a conflict, we have a reckoning, we have an awakening, and then it's all just happens at once. And also, yeah, it's just, I don't know, the way that the magic system works and the way that it's presented in the book brings about a lot of questions, especially in regards to how is this kept hush hush. Especially considering some people's views and opinions of certain people. I just thought, no, this is definitely not going to be this hidden secret for sure. Look, I was picking it apart a bit. That's what I want to say. I had to suspend my disbelief. I just had to put it aside. I did listen to this as an audiobook. I don't know if that helped improve my enjoyment more. I think it might have helped actually a bit. I think I would have gotten even more frustrated reading about Annie. I just didn't like Annie. Sophie in the beginning was cool, but then she got hella clingy and jealous and possessive. And I'm like, oh, man, these characters kind of suck. So with Rachel Harrison, she does seem to be very hit and miss. Like I said, it's still okay. It was an okay read. I didn't hate it, didn't dislike it, but I preferred Black Sheep over this one. Is it like any of the pictures? Yes, absolutely. The one that comes to mind immediately is of the woman spider with a man in her web, because this is Sophie and eventually Annie. They're beautiful, they're unsettling. The spiders are connected to them literally and magically, and it just represents that witchy charm and uncanny feminism. You know, who are they going to catch, snare in their web and feed off of? So those were the books that I read today. I would say spiraling spiders was the theme overall. And now on to the perfume for this vlog. Today I am talking about Kaleidos by Naxos Apothecary. The notes in this are black cherry, juniper berry, leather, violet, clove, bitter almond, and patchouli. This is perfume as ritual object. It smells like something worn to a solstice gathering, or hidden in the lining of a priestess's robe. It's perfect for twilight hours, altars both literal and emotional, and those liminal autumn days when summer's sweetness has fermented into something richer, haunting, herbal, and steeped in myth. This is a scent for seekers, witches, mourners, and poets. The first image that came to mind when I sniffed it was of a very sexy apothecary who is part of a secret society and who likes drinking creme de cassis. The book that I would pair with this scent is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and this book is about a hidden apothecary shop that caters to women seeking vengeance against oppressive men. There are dual timelines in which you uncover the shop's secret and legacy, poison, power, and sisterhood in tincture form. So that's everything for this vlog. I will be taking you out and about with me in the city today. I am going to go to the bookstore. I'm also going to try some more matchas as usual, still on my matcha quest, even though I've already gotten a 9.5, so I don't know if anything's going to knock Ballybola's matcha miso off the leaderboard. We shall see. I have so many places. We've got a lot more matcha options than hot chocolate options, it seems. But that is what I'll be doing today. So until next time, stay with the vibe, Star Child.
Total control.
Thank you so much. You're gonna get.
It's just the vibe of the thing.